Hello everybody, this is City Scrapper. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. I am back for day 19 of Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, Series 7. The sketch for today is this sketch with lots of beautiful florals, and it was made by Elsie Robinson for the Hit Kit Club. I'm starting with a piece of 120-pound smooth white cardstock, which is my favorite. I've already covered it with some white gesso. And now I'm going in with some Tattered Angel sprays. I'm going to be using the Dear Lizzy She's Magic collection for this layout. I thought of that collection as soon as I saw the sketch because of the beautiful flowers that were on the sketch. I thought of these flowers in this collection that I absolutely love. I don't have a lot from this collection. I have the pattern papers and I have one set of chipboard stickers, but that's really it. But I feel like the flowers are so beautiful, that is the most important thing. So I'll find other things to go along with this layout. I'm also using a Heidi Swapp Color Shine. I believe that light blue color is called Ocean. And then I'm going in with a green spray as well. And I will list all of the sprays and other materials that I used in the description box as I usually do. So I'm using the packaging technique to spread a little bit of color around the background. Even though I do add a decent amount of paints and other mixed media to the background, there's not a huge amount of it visible on the final layout, but I just kind of accept that. I never know how the layout's going to go and what I'm going to decide to layer on top of it, so I'm fine with that. I do like whatever mixed media shows through. I do like it to be there. So I added a number of sprays. Now I'm going back in with some white watered down acrylic paint, and I'm just splattering that all around the mixed media area. I'm also adding just a couple of black splatters, and in order to keep those splatters small, I'm just using my scissors and hitting them gently against the top of the spray bottle, so it'll just make a couple of small splatters. This piece of navy blue dotted paper is from the She's Magic collection, and I already have a smear on it. Of course, there's a white smear on the bottom, but not to worry, it's not visible in the final layout. I have cut out a circle out of green paper that's also from the collection, and I mounted my photo down, and I have scrapbooked quite a number of these photos. This is one of my older daughter. And I covered the back with some fun foam to pop it up a little bit. And now I'm just extending that mixed media a little bit because I know that I plan to put a lot of fussy cut flowers. You could see them off to the right. I know I'm going to put those around the photo. So I just want to make sure that at least some of the mixed media is visible in the final layout. Doing more of the packaging technique, few splatters, and rolling the paper towel over the top. I've seen Missy Wynn do that, so I tried doing the same thing, and I like the way it will pick up some of the color that's in the background that has kind of pooled and that won't dry too quickly. I'm trying to pick out a stencil for the background, and I tried a bunch of different stencils, but I ended up choosing this Echo Park stencil. It's just a teeny tiny little flower. And I tried putting a little piece of cardstock over the pattern paper to protect it from the white splatters. But of course, I already have a bunch of smudges on the background. In order to add some texture to the background, I am using some modeling paste. That's the Crafters Workshop brand. And I'm also using some Momenta stencil paint. I always accidentally call it stencil paste, but it's paint, and you can use any white paint if you want to make the modeling paste a little bit more of a crisp white than a slightly grayish color. So I always mix those two together, and here I'm just putting some of these little flowers on the mixed media that's already there. And like I said before, you don't see that much of it, but I like all these little touches. Now I'm using an older border punch. I guess all my border punches are older at this point, but I love using them. So I'm using that to put a little separation between the pattern paper on the bottom and the mixed media background. And now that there's fun foam all over the back of my photo, I am putting some ATG adhesive on it and I'm popping it up. And I have fussy cut these flowers. There's a beautiful sheet of pattern paper in this collection that has all of these gorgeous flowers on it. So I fussy cut out the better part of one of the pages. And sometimes I like to cut the leaves off of the flowers and then put them in, sometimes in another direction, or sometimes I tuck them a little bit more underneath the flower or in a different place. I like the ability to move them around. So I did cut off some of the leaves. There are these really cool holographic hearts that are included in that sheet of chipboard stickers. So I'm finding some places for those around the layout. And I like this tile that says smile. I really like it on the photo there. I don't leave it there, but I'm guessing I moved it because it's not super clearly visible on that part of the photo. So I do end up moving that to the top of the photo. And then there's this pattern paper that has some cut apart cards on it. And there are the exact same flowers, but they're a little bit smaller. So I thought those would be a good addition. So here I'm fussy cutting out some of those smaller flowers. And I always like to have things on my layout that are different sizes, especially when they're the same item. I like to have as many different sizes as are available. And so I kind of wish I had bought more of this particular cut apart sheet. I bought more of the flower sheets, and I'm thinking these are actually such a great addition to the page because they're nice and tiny. So I cut out a whole bunch of them. In the beginning, I'm not going to fussy cut them. I'm just going to cut out the flowers that I want just to see how many I need and where I'm going to put them on the page. Then I'm going to go back and fussy cut each one of them out. And for the most part, I do that off camera. Now I'm just deciding where to put all of those little flowers that I cut out. There is a pink chipboard sticker and it says kind heart, fierce mind, brave spirit. And I thought that that would be a great sentiment to add to this layout, but that sticker is just too large. So I do keep it on there for a little while, but in the end, I end up taking it off just because of its size. I pulled up the photo because I decided that I thought it would look nice if there was a doily behind the photo. I had a doily that was a really good size for that circle that's behind the photo, so I added that. And now I'm attaching those flowers down. Some of them I'm attaching directly to the background, and some of them I'm going to be popping up on some foam. And I like the way that looks with the flat flowers next to the more dimensional flowers. This collection, She's Magic, is just one of my favorite collections that has been made by American Crafts recently. I feel like it's totally made by these beautiful flowers. I recently saw a big embellishment set on Peachy Cheap, and it was really early in the morning, but it was already sold out. So I guess a lot of people really like this collection. Hopefully they'll have it again in the future because I would love to have some other embellishments that go along with these papers. In addition to the large center cluster, and the cluster that's up on the top left-hand corner, I also make a little cluster on the lower right-hand corner. And it wasn't absolutely necessary, but I just wanted to add a little something more to the layout. So first I'm going to work on the cluster that's on the upper left-hand corner. I am, just like I did on the other part of the layout, I am lifting up some of the flowers on some fun foam. And then I'm attaching down the flowers with some ATG adhesive. And you could just see a little bit of the mixed media peeking out from behind those flowers. I'm adding another one. And those are those little ones now that I'm adding around. I like that dark blue ampersand, but I just couldn't find a good place for it. And this little sentiment says, make it happen. And I thought that this would be perfect for a little tiny cluster on the lower right-hand corner. So I go ahead and attach that down. And the flowers that are on top of it, those are chipboard flowers. Those aren't the fussy cut ones. Those are from the sticker sheet. And I put on a little bit of foam so that it'll sit nicely on top of the little phrase. And I do tend to move around these tinier embellishments more than the most important things on the page. I'm once again moving those holographic hearts around. And I never did flower arranging with actual flowers, but I wonder if it's kind of the same thing where you put the large flowers in and then you fill in with the tiny flowers, like any little holes or any little bare spots, because I feel like that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just using those smaller flowers to highlight the bigger ones and also to fill in any gaps. A few weeks ago, I made a page for my creative scrapbook, and I cut these leaves out of one of the papers that was in the kit, and I used it on my layout, but I had a bunch left over. So I thought I would try putting these on the page. They were already on my desk, so I tried one of them, and I feel like these leaves are a great match for this collection. This is a Bow Bunny travel theme paper that was in the January My Creative Scrapbook kit, and I liked the way it was a beige color, and that works really well with this collection because it has accents of beige in it. So I'm cutting them into pieces. They're very long. The die for these particular branches is very long, so I'm able to cut it into smaller pieces, cut some of them short, and in some cases I can cut them in half and use both sides of the branch, which I feel like is rare. Usually when I cut them in half, the other side doesn't look so good and I have to get rid of it, but in this case, both sides end up looking good. So I finally have those hearts attached down. I am attaching the chipboard title smile on top of the photo. And I always like to have some little embellishment next to my title, most of the time anyway. I like the way that kind of brings the title in with the rest of the layout if there's something that's common to the rest of the layout along with the title. So that's why I add that little flower behind the M and the I. And I didn't like that little empty spot up on the top, so I added another flower up there. And then I go around and add a little enamel dot to each of those holographic hearts, and I cut off the extra flowers on the top. And that completes this layout. Here are some close-ups of the layout. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope that if you like this video, you'll give it a thumbs up, and I hope if you're not already a subscriber, you will consider subscribing to my channel. Please take a look in the description box. There are links to all the other scrapbookers on YouTube and on Instagram who are following along with this challenge. And I hope everybody has a great day. And I hope to see you back again tomorrow for day 20. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.